And thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Sunderland, sorry. Apologies.
Thank you, Ms Favage, and my congratulations to the member for Aldridge and Brownhill for screening the debate. And also, Minister, welcome to her place, and also to the member for Chipping Barnet, and indeed the member for the Isle of Wight, for all the work that's been done to progress the housing agenda in the right way. In particular, NC21, which I'm a huge fan of. And thank you to everyone for all their speeches today. And I agree with most of what's been said. What we're talking about this afternoon is ultimately that balance between Brownfield and Greenbelt. And it's really important that we do focus redevelopment on Brownfield, not Greenbelt, as we've heard. It's about balance. We've got a acute housing crisis in the UK right now. We need more housing. We're getting older as a population. People are separating. We've got net immigration on the increase. So we have to make sure we've got enough houses for people to live in. So there's no question at all we've got to build more housing. But the issue is where we build that housing and how we build that housing. And that's what I want to focus on. I am a fan of the Levelling Up Regeneration Bill. And I rise, in effect, to speak in support of that bill. It will drive local growth. It will empower local leaders to regenerate their areas. It will regenerate the high street and town centres, give new powers for rental auctions and permanent pavement licensing. It will introduce compulsory design codes to ensure redevelopment reflects community preferences. So what we're doing is giving powers back to the community, and that's really, really important. And also, it will introduce a new infrastructure levy to fund affordable housing. And with regards to housing targets, I was never a fan of the Litchfield formula. It was terrible. And full credit to the government for listening and also for overturning that. And where we have now, what we've got now is these advisory targets, which are the right thing to do. So I'm dead against mandatory targets. But if anything, I want to see the end of the advisory targets as well. Why? Because councils are best placed locally to make the decision on what housing they need, on which more in a minute. But I do want to commend the government for its Brownfield development programme. We've got £1.8 billion allocated at the 2021 spending review, which includes £300 million of locally led grant funding to unlock smaller brownfield sites, and £1.5 billion to regenerate underused land expected, which will unlock up to 160,000 homes in itself. And also, I commend the member for Buckingham, who spoke about these permissions. 1.2 million houses, which we could build right now if there was a will to do so. So, again, there is no need to go anywhere near the Greenbelt, in my view. Please do.
This figure keeps being thrown around. Does he accept that 1.2 million figure is total existing capacity? That's not an annual figure, and he knows the government's target remains, I think, 300,000 new homes each and every year.
Thank you for the intervention. My understanding is that it is 1.2 million, which is the overall figure. So I think that's important to say that, and that's what government sources have told me. So I'm inclined to believe it. Just a quick word about Bracknell Forest, if I can. Bracknell is pioneering this nationwide move to use brownfield sites, and we've got £2.3 million allocated to Bracknell Forest Council to assist with 3 major projects. 1.6 million will go to redeveloping Market Street, 570,000 to redeveloping the depot site off Old Bracknell Lane West, and again 25% and 35% of those 2 sites are for affordable homes, which is really important. And the third project is 119,000 of public money to create an access road which will unlock a piece of tarmac land locally, which will be used to redevelopment for single-person homes and 2 wheelchair-accessible homes. So Bracknell Forest Council are doing their bit in line with the national agenda. But what I want to say, slightly negative point, is that in Bracknell Forest during 19 and 20, a total of 1,688 new homes were added, of which 1,200 were built. This is a 123% increase on the previous year. So I want to commend Bracknell Forest Council and indeed Wokingham Borough Council locally for meeting their local plans. And this is a proud record of Conservative-run councils in meeting their local plans. So we are delivering those homes. But my issue, with which I'll finish, relates to residual land. And why is that important? Well, if you look at Bracknell at the moment, in terms of the constituency area, it's deemed to be 41% built up. It is an urban built-up area in the main. Surrey Heath, next door, 31%. Wokingham, 23%. Windsor, 23%. Maidenhead, 18%. So Bracknell already is one of the most built-up areas in the south of England. Why is that important? It's really important because we have to make sure that we are giving due credence to the quality of life of people who already live there. So for me, my loyalty as the MP extends to those who live in the constituency, not necessarily those who want to move into the constituency. And it's really important that we preserve that quality of life that we already have as constituents. And again, the member for Buckingham mentioned this, and it's really important. We should not be building on farming land. We should not be building on agricultural land. We should not be building on golf courses or school playing fields or any other leisure areas. The people that we represent have to have access to those open spaces. And far from actually just encouraging it, what we should be doing is actually holding developers and councils to account and issuing them punitive fines if they're building on farming land. We've got to protect what it is we have. We've got to feed our population. And also, I want to see recognition, perhaps, in the bill in respect of the residual land formula. If you've only got a small amount of land left in a particular constituency, let's value that, let's look after it, let's make sure that we don't build on it, even though councils quite clearly have targets to meet, advisory now, thankfully, and also Section 106 money, as we know, is quite attractive. So I'm going to conclude now to give my friend a bit of time at the end, but my point is this. Building is fine in the right areas. We need more housing, yes we do, but we must not build on agricultural or greenbelt land. Our green and pleasant lands are very important. We must not cover those with dark satanic mills. Once it's gone, it's gone. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, Ms Farage. And I also want to